everybody, we got the intake done on this. I'm going to show you what I did to it. Thanks for being here, appreciate it. Hopefully you find something in here you like. Little tip, little trick, what we're doing. For those that haven't watched all along, try not to get too windy here, but what we're doing is we're modding this Stihl 026 one step at a time, and dyno testing and test cuts along the way. And I like test cuts, but I think I like my dyno better. And the reason being, the weather has such an impact on it. You'll see today, weather's 48 degrees, 99% humidity, foggy as heck, barometric pressure is 29.96. You'd be surprised what kind of difference that'll make. I would not be surprised if this saw doesn't cut slower than it did before I did the intake and have more horsepower and more torque. When this saw was stock, the day I cut with it, it was 13 degrees and the humidity was down around 40%. Don't remember. I've got it all wrote down. I've calculated that in. Stick around. We're going to see some stuff. We'll bring you back here in a bit. It's already put together, so I'm sitting here doing the intro after I've already done it. I've started it a little bit. I think she's going to be zingy. I think she's going to do okay. Shut up, sir. I'm talking. I think it's going to do okay. I think we're going down the road with a school bus in the line somewhere, and like everybody's tied to the school bus. So yeah, we've got the intake opened up and the lower transfers opened up. But the slow thing on the road, I think, is still the exhaust, and that's the next thing we'll do. Stick around if I earned it, like it. If I didn't, you know the deal. That's okay. You ain't gonna hurt my feelers none. But it does help. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Thanks to everybody that's watching, and thanks to the people that's like I always was. I didn't subscribe. They don't need my daggum. I didn't even have a Google account. So all you guys that don't subscribe because you can't, I really extra much appreciate you guys, because I know you just watched enough. Your computer knows you like watching this. So guys, you guys are kind of my kindred spirits. I did get a Google account just because I had to for another deal. But so no, all you guys that watch, I appreciate it. Skip around in here. If I start to bore you, skip forward. We bounce around in here like a BB in a fruit jar. I'll show you what I did to the cylinder. We'll dyno run it. We'll cut with it, and I'll bring you inside and show you the results. I want to show you two things on here. Number one, how close this intake is over here to where that skirt runs up and down. If I keep twisting that around, you can see the witness marks where that skirt, it acts as a valve on this. You can see on this side we have absolutely almost none. Of course the skirt would be on the inside of this line. We have almost no room for error there, and that was factory. This side here, we can open that up a little bit if we so desire. Now, just for cheating purposes along the way, what I like doing, I'll take like this little half round file. I'm going to be grinding in there anyhow. I'm not really going to rough anything up. And I just barely stick that through to where it's just barely protruding out there, and I can catch my fingernail on it, and I hold it down. I got her jammed in there tighter than a gnat's butt stretched around a rain barrel. Now I can measure down off of this. And you just want just enough you can catch on it, because if it sticks too much up, see, it's going to skew your measurement. So we just barely want that sticking out of there, just enough for this to catch on, and we'll take our measurement, and we're at about 642 thousandths. We're going to take off about 50 thousandths, so we're going to go down to about 590 and deburt and put it on there and see where we're at timing wise numbers. Now before I put this on and give you the timing numbers, I want to show you what I did to the intake. We haven't touched the exhaust still. Don't know what we'll get out of this intake. I expect we're going to be hitting diminishing returns because the exhaust is going to be holding us back for a while. We'll probably see bigger gains once we do the exhaust. I'll let some of this other stuff we've done catch up. But I'm testing it along the way. Who knows? Maybe the exhaust is big enough. Maybe the second I touch it, it'll go bad. Maybe it'll go the other way. Maybe the exhaust is perfect. We'll find out. Now there's about the intake, how it is. Hopefully you can remember how it was. This top cylinder, and that boot on that carburetor, see that boot on that carburetor sets like this, and you can see it's offset. Maybe you can see it like that. You can see that boot's offset on there, and it sets like this. So actually the carburetor's setting over here, and that air comes in and then it curves and goes this way. Now I had a little bit of room here to open this side up a little bit. I think that'll help. This side here is already kind of on the low pressure side, so I think that'll help. We lunged that intake just a little bit, and the reason I did that, I want this angle right here to basically be pointing to where that air is not hitting the backside of the cylinder. See, you want it like that. You don't want that air cramming into the backside of the cylinder. So it's up there. It ought to be hitting just about the backside of that crank, which is where we want it. We dimpled up this because that air is going to be hitting straight in, and it's going to hit this right here. Well, that's going to cause your fuel to come out of suspension, so we put some little dimples in there. We'll get us a layer of air that basically just stays right there, and will force that. We'll force that when it hits this backside. It'll force that air down without letting it splat against there like fog on a windshield. We lowered the intake just a little bit. We'll get timing numbers. We lowered it about 1.5 millimeters, about 60 thousandths. We'll get it timed out. I'm hoping it's around 150, high 140s, low 150s. So there we go. Let's see what we got. Guys, you can see behind me how foggy it is. Tree line's over there about 250 yards, and you can't even see it with naked eye. I can see where it's at. You guys probably can't even, how cameras trick you. Remind me sometime to show you the difference on, I can calculate that out. I can show you the difference on what weather conditions to do. There's calculations for that, and you'd be surprised if you're just modding the saw. You take it out today and you run it, and you do something to it that might have helped it, and you run it the next time, like I did, and it was. This is 48 and 13's what, 62, 61. So there's 61. No, there isn't. 48 minus 13. That'd be 35. There's 35 degrees difference between today and the first day I run this. That's not counting the humidity. I wouldn't be surprised if it don't cut slower today, because when it was 13 degrees out, it had good cold air, good cold charge, and you can mod the crap out of stuff, and you think you're doing good, and you are doing good, but you go put it on the same log with the same bar and chain, same chain tension, same every stuff, and it don't cut as good, and you think, well, heck, I messed up. No, you might have gained it 5 or 7%, and the weather can offset you more than that. Dyno 26, we got the intake. We done the intake on it. About 146 duration right now. Well, I guess I turned it off. That's why it won't run. house, we'll look at it. All right, thanks for hanging around, everybody. We got the intake dyno results done. Looking pretty good so far. We're up to 3.5 horsepower, 9381 RPMs, 3.10 foot-pounds of torque at 5736. We'll compare that back. We're actually losing. We got more horsepower, but it's shifting down. This is my high RPMs. This is my low RPMs, just like as it comes off the dyno. She's wound up here, and we'll start pulling it down. We're moving the horsepower actually lower. We're getting more grunt in the saw and losing top end, but we haven't started doing anything with the exhaust to get rid of all this amount of air up in here that's going to be moving so fast. But so to recap, new cylinder was at 3.20 horsepower at 9769. After we did the transfers, a little big, 3.41 at 9601. The intake, we've moved up. Now we're up to 3.5 horsepower, 3.50 exactly at 9381 RPMs. We're moving down. A little warmer today, and humidity correction factor of 95.2 or 0.952. We achieved about 12,820 on the dyno at 1.33 foot-pounds of torque, which is about the minimum it will do. So we'll go back and recap. The red line was stock, and you can see after we did the transfers, we gained volume, I assume, in the transfers, and we lost a little bit of horsepower up here, but we gained it from, let's say, about 10,700 on the rest of the way. We kept it, we gained it, but we did lose a little bit up on the top end. Now it's getting a whole lot of lines here. The red line again is our stock. The blue line is with transfers, and you can see we've lost a little bit of high end torque, but once we gained it right here with the transfers, we held it the whole time. Now after we opened up the intake, we gained it back just a little bit faster. We didn't get back to stock horsepower till here. We moved it back up here. Now the peak horsepower we moved as well. But the yellow line is the intake. So guys, we're going in the right direction. I think we're stifled on the exhaust here. So that's going to be the next step, is to start working on the exhaust. So stick around, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyhow. They don't audit it. See y'all later.